This episode of Wisdom and Wellness is proudly brought to you by Dis-Chem DelivereD, your on-demand delivery service available on the Dis-Chem app. Dis-Chem DelivereD, from us to you on demand. Hello, Wisdom and Wellness family. Happy 2023 and a happy unlimited 2023. I am so excited to be back. This is the first official podcast of the year, and what better way than to start it with a one-on-one, me and you, catching up, setting the tone of the year, and let's see what this year has got for us. Today's episode, I have titled it 3 things that you can do that can change your year, your life, or your season. Now, it's not one of those gimmicks where if you do this abracadabra, life will change, but it really is simple things that can set the tone for your life. So let's get into today's conversation. 3 things that can change your life this year. Now, you may hear this and it may not feel like new information, but it can always feel like a reminder. I've actually taken some time to study and hear what's going on, what the trends are in the wellness space, in the healing space. And to be quite honest, the more you study, the more you realize that there's actually no new information out there. Everything is just reiterated and said in different ways. So that's good news and bad news. The good news is that you know what you need to do in order for you to get your life together. The bad news is that you may feel like, I need something more exciting. Give me more. I want to do something different. So it's up to you and it's up to your perspective. So number 1, progress towards a whole relationship with yourself. I heard this in a conversation. Oprah was actually talking about it, that she once interviewed Jane Fonda. And this actually stuck with me. And I've heard it before again, but it actually sat with me when she used the word whole. That Jane Fonda sat with her and said, look, I'm not looking for perfection anymore. I'm looking to be whole. And that sat with me, that in the beginning of the year, we all have these perfect visions, these perfect ideas, and these goals that are clear, and they have to be done in step 1, 2, 3. And if they don't, we fall apart. But how about we shift our perspective on how it's supposed to look and into how I'm supposed to feel while all of this is happening. So that's why I said we need to progress towards a whole relationship with ourselves. Take note, emphasis on progress, because you're not going to wake up, even if we can do all the things today and for the next 21 days, we're not going to get it right every single day. Life is constantly happening and life is constantly going to happen. I had to catch myself recently where I had quite a terrible incident happen, and I wanted to just continue on the route I was going at. And I felt a little disappointed in myself that I didn't. And I spoke to my mom and I'm like, yeah, I've been doing so well. And then I just got set back. And my mom said, it's okay. You can just start tomorrow again. And isn't it crazy how you actually know these things, but sometimes you just need to hear it from someone else. So in my mother's words, it's okay. You can start again tomorrow. Now, what does progressing towards a whole relationship with yourself look like? Number 1, start by knowing who you are authentically. This is quite a big one. I think we live in such a world where we want to be like this one, and we're inspired by this one. And it's amazing to be inspired, and it's nice that we're connected socially, but it can have such a huge effect on who we are authentically and who we are uniquely. Because then you might think, I'm not good enough. I want to be like that person. But the truth is, you only know what that person shows you. So you don't know the rest of it, or what it takes for that person to be that way. So it's important to carve out that authentic relationship with self. Who am I at my core? What do I like outside everybody else's opinions, outside what everybody else says is the thing to like? Who am I? So knowing who you are starts by spending time with yourself. And this is why in everything I do and everything I say, I will always encourage you to carve out some time where you just sit with yourself or try out some new things. I recently started painting, and I'm not a good painter, but I enjoyed it. And I'm opening myself to trying out so many different things, because that's the only way you can know who you are and you can progress to a wholesome you. I mean, the painting experience gave me such a fulfilling feeling that I haven't felt in anything I've done in years. But how would I have known if I hadn't tried it out? And tried it out because it matters to me and because I like it. I didn't have to show anybody how my painting looked, but it mattered to me. So start by knowing who you are authentically. Number 2, a deeper and intimate relationship with God. That is absolutely important because not all of us have a good idea of who we are or a positive look on who we are or how we look. Sometimes we get in front of the mirror and you feel like a disappointment, or you feel like you're not the best version of yourself, or you feel like you're not good enough. And such feelings can come from past experiences, certain failures, traumatic experiences, what people have said to you, but it isn't necessarily the truth. If you go to the Word of God, and I've been studying the book of Jeremiah, God says, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. I set you apart for this. In the book of Psalms, God speaks about how He made you and He knows the intricate details. He put you together. And I think it's important to know that when God created you, it wasn't a random moment or a random day, or He had nothing to do, but He paid attention. He knew what He was doing. And you are here because there's something specific you are here to fulfill. So the only way we can know who we really are is by having that intimate relationship with God and asking Him, God, what do you think of me? And the beautiful thing about God is that He doesn't see us as these imperfect beings who keep messing up. Because of Jesus, who died on the cross for us, He sees us as these beings who the people He loved, the people He created, the ones He cared for, the ones He sacrificed for. So it's important to always go back to sitting and saying, what do you think of me? And then you meditate on that and then you speak it. If it means every day waking up and saying, I am made in God's image, then that is enough to progressing towards a whole you. And the great thing, the most beautiful thing about that relationship with God and finding out who you are through that is that it's not dependent on what you do. It's not dependent on how you look. It's not dependent on whether you're excelling or you're thriving. It's just dependent on being. You simply have to be. So that is basically having a deeper and intimate relationship with God. You have to take that time and get to find out, God, what do you think of me? Who am I born to be? What am I here to do? And then number 3, the last one on progressing towards a whole relationship with yourself. Everything should be working around your spirituality. I'm going to say it again. Everything should be working around your spirituality. I mean, things are a bit opposite now, where it feels like we're working for material gains. We're working to show. We want to be at the top of the ladder. But that's not for everyone. So your spirituality, as Ubuyisile mentioned on one of our previous episodes, is where you are rooted. What is your rooting? What is your foundation? What matters to you? Now, this is why it's important to know who you are authentically, because your spirituality is your values. It grounds you. It says to you, okay, getting a promotion to top management might look like the ideal goal. That's what the world tells us we should look out for. But maybe for you, working in a certain level or starting a smaller business or running a charity or whatever it looks like could be what's better for you holistically. So I'm not saying we should either lower our goals or change our goals. I'm just saying that it's important that whatever goal we have is aligned to our values, aligned to our spirituality. I'm jumping the gun, but going to vision, I made an example the other day that if you set your vision or intention for the year as being present with my family, and that's your intention for the year, when an opportunity to travel for 6 months comes, it's not that it's a terrible opportunity. It's just that it's not a good opportunity for you in that moment because of your values. And so that's why it's so important to have everything work around your spirituality, everything work around your values. And that way, wherever you go, you know what to say yes to, you know what to say no to, and you know what to say, actually, I need to think about that because I don't know if it still fits the authentic me that I'm practicing right now or that I am being right now. So that's on progressing towards a whole relationship with yourself. Start by knowing who you are authentically, have a deeper and intimate relationship with God, and everything should be working around your spirituality, not the other way around. I know it may feel like, oh, but won't I suffer here? But trust me, every successful person I know that I admire works with their intuition, their spirituality, and their values, and everything somehow happens to fall in place. And then the second thing on 3 things that you can do to change your life this year is have a clear and set vision for the year, for your life, or for the season. I know there's a lot about vision boards and you should have this and you should do this, and it's exciting and it can sometimes feel like it's oversold. But I believe in a vision board. I've always had a vision board. It has changed and progressed over time. But let me break it down what a vision board actually is before you jump in and buy into the hype. In simple terms, a vision board is a collage of images and words representing a person's wishes or goals intended to serve as inspiration and motivation. And here's why I think a vision board is extremely important. When God was talking to Abraham in Genesis, he says to Abraham, as far as your eyes can see, you can have that. Now, what does that mean? If we are not exposed to different things, if we don't know what's happening, if we don't see it, it's very hard to actually desire it. So whatever we desire, whatever we dream for is what we've actually been exposed to. My husband always tells a story that when he was growing up in Graskop, which is an extremely, extremely small town, the only dream he had was to buy a city golf car. And that's as far as he could dream. That's all, and it was a good dream, but that's as far as he could dream. And then he moved to Pretoria, Joburg, and realized, oh, actually, there's a whole lot of things to dream for. Like, there's a whole lot of things I can have a vision about. And that's simply the power of exposure. And the power of seeing what else you can have. So that's why I think a vision board is important. Do you have to do it like everybody else? Absolutely not. And my vision board has progressed. Before I used to do one every single year, and it worked for me. But what's important for me to mention is that during my vision board time, it wasn't in a setting where it's wishy-washy. I really have taken time to sit with myself, to reflect, to meditate, to pray, and to ask God to actually give me the vision, to align my ideas and to His vision. And then when you put it down, there's so much peace and calm knowing that, you know what, you've trusted God, He's imparted something in you, and all you have to do is be obedient. So this year I haven't actually done a vision board, and simply because I feel like the way I've structured my vision board in the past years, it's pretty much the same thing. It just continues to evolve and it continues to grow based on my exposure and based on my life experiences. So I realized I actually don't have to do a new vision board. I don't think my mind is able to put into paper what God has for me. And for me, that's a level of of surrender, of saying, look, you know my heart, God, you know my heart's desires. I know how this thing is supposed to look. I'm open for you to take me where you need to take me. But we're at different places, and some may be at that place, and some may be that place where they need to start by actually doing the vision board. It's also important that your vision board does not have to be a huge collage of wanting everything. Like I mentioned earlier, your vision for the year could just be to be present. Your vision for the year could just be to take care of my health. The vision for the year could simply be to be at home more or to study. It doesn't always have to be all these things, the car, the house. Those things are great, put them down, but it doesn't have to be if it will relieve you of pressure. So don't have the pressure to have a vision board that looks like everybody else's. Take time and go back to that first step of who are you authentically? What serves your spirituality? Then you move on to your vision board. What does that actually look like? What does a whole progressed you look like, and what is required? And then lastly, on the topic of the vision board, I found this beautiful quote that says, act like the person you want to become. It's beautiful. It's fun to cut out the pictures to get the Pinterest boards and everything. But if your actions don't change, that vision board will just be a piece of paper. So it's important to know who you are, to be exposed, to see it, and then back it up with action. If your vision is to be to live a more active lifestyle, then on the day you do the vision board, don't sit and say, okay, I'll start tomorrow and binge on all the TV. Start then, take a walk or play outside, walk in the garden, do something that looks, act like the person who you're becoming. It starts today, not tomorrow, not Monday, not next week. It starts today. Without the pressure, you just simply have to be. And my last one, my favorite, I will always speak about this, have a routine. A routine will change your life. Normally, I would say have a morning routine, but sometimes a morning routine doesn't work for all of us. Morning routine works for me. I'm still 5 a.m. club. I think I will be 5 a.m. club for a very long time in my life, and my morning routine works perfectly. If you need an afternoon or a night routine, it doesn't matter, but have a routine that works for you, that works for your family and your surroundings. I have a quote from John C. Maxwell that's actually beautiful. He says, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine." I'm going to say it again. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. That's John C. Maxwell. So if you show me your routine, it's almost that thing of show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Show me your routine and I'll show you your path or something. But emphasis on a routine. Your routine does not have to look like mine. It doesn't have to be the 5 a.m. club one, but have a routine. It's important though, from my perspective, that your routine should involve the following: some time alone, because once again, that speaks to your authenticity, who you are, being in touch with yourself, your emotions, your mental health. So having time alone. That time alone could include a run, a walk, praying, meditating, sitting still, listening to your favorite song, but have your time alone. It could be 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. Have time alone. Number 2, working out. It is extremely important for your mental health to work out, your physical health to work out, and just in the long run to live an active lifestyle. And I think it really sets the tone for your day. It makes you feel like you've conquered something. Even if you end your day like that, it just makes you feel like you've conquered, you've shown up, you've done something really hard consistently that not many people are willing to do. And that in itself sets you apart. And then journaling. You could journal differently. Journal through a voice note, through paper, on your laptop, whatever it is. Find a way to express yourself, to express gratitude. You could say it out loud. Now when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is thank you, and I speak it, and then I'll still write some things in my journal. So it's important to have a way to vocalize your gratitude. And then also incorporate everything else that feeds you. For me, this is spending some time with my children. It involves making breakfast, singing, music, listening to a podcast, working out. There's so many things that are involved in my routine. And your routine shouldn't just stop in the morning and then the rest of the day you go back to old bad habits. Ideally, your routine should set the tone of the person you are or the person you are becoming. So whatever it is, make sure that you decide what works for you, your family. If you've got 5 kids, it looks differently to mine. If you've got no kids, it looks completely different too. So make sure you have a routine that works towards your goals. So those are the 3 things I think could change your life drastically. I don't speak from things I just read in a book. Tried, tested, and I believe in it. They've changed my life in so many different ways. So I'll read them back to you. Number 1, we need to progress towards a whole relationship with ourselves. This is ongoing. You don't do it once and you stop. It's ongoing. Progress towards a whole relationship with self. Number 2, have a clear and set vision for your life, for the year, and for your season. And number 3, have a routine that works for you. So those are the 3 things I think if you can implement and be consistent in, at the end of the year, end of the quarter, we will be talking a different language. So that is it. And I just want to get into our Unlimited Festival that is coming up. We are excited. Our tickets are selling out, which is absolutely crazy because we've got a pretty large venue. I mean, we've seen how our Speak Live September sells out within 30 minutes. We've seen how everything we've done has always really reached capacity. And this time we have done our level best to make sure that we can accommodate as many people as possible. And to see the tickets selling out and we're not even there yet, we're not even in the last week, is absolutely mind-blowing. So thank you to everybody who's buying their tickets. If you haven't bought your ticket, please make sure you get it. We've shared who our speakers are. We have Unomza Mombata. Oh, by the way, you guys can probably hear how my heart starts jumping and I get excited when I talk about the fest. But the reason why we named it Unlimited, it wasn't random. I believe that I got this vision to do this, and I was trusting God and saying, God, if you are doing this thing, you're going to tell me exactly everything that we're doing, from the name of the event, who we're having as speakers, and I'm simply just a vessel. And I think so far God has been really faithful in that. And so we chose the word, I believe I received the word unlimited. And that word in itself can be so many things to so many other people. So that's why I've even posed on our Instagram that, what does the word unlimited mean to you? You know, for me, it's got its own explanations, and I've written it down, and I'm trusting God for his unlimited power in all that I'm doing. And I encourage you to do the same. Set your intention for the day as you're coming. As much as we're going to dance, have fun, be beautiful, take pictures, network, meet business partners, and make sure you set your intention for the day. What are you hoping to achieve? What are you hoping to see unlimitedly unleashed in your life? So set that intention. And even in choosing my speakers and the performers, I chose people with stories, people who started just like you and I with not much, and we've seen them now on international stages, like Unomzamo Mbata, who shared her story about being raised by her grandmother, not having money for school, and now you see her on international platforms, on great movies and great ambassador. And I'm excited. Me and her are going to be sitting down, and we're going to be having a conversation. So almost like the podcast, but live with an audience, and it's going to be amazing. And then we've got my friend, my mentor, Amanda Dambuza, who also has her own story. I'm sure most of you have read her book. We've had her books as a pick in our book club. And she tells her story about her circumstances, the abuse she faced, and this time, it's not going to be a conversation between me and her, but she is actually going to be standing and sharing her own story. And trust me, I can never get enough of hearing her share her story. And I think the angle might be different based on the conversations we've been having. I know she's moving to a different level in life, so I'm pretty excited to be one of the first to host her this year. And yeah, if you know Amanda, she has her own event happening every year called Vastly Sage, the event, and it sells out within like 30 minutes every year. So if you haven't gotten your 2024 tickets for her event, you better be sure to be at the Unlimited event, because that's the only place you'll catch her. And then we've announced Murda, who is a phenomenal performer. He too has an incredible journey that he hasn't yet fully shared, but it's amazing to see him on international stages, and knowing that he comes from Sosha, like many of us. So there's still 3 more artists that we are going to announce. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be excited. I'm excited. When the team found out, when the team and I discussed who we're having, and we got the yes, we couldn't contain our joy. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be happening in Joburg. Get your tickets. Like I said, we are selling out. We are sharing all information on our Instagram. And then we do have our blog, where I just wrote about how to kickstart your fasting season. And also there we will be sharing more information about the fest. We know that we've got people traveling from Zimbabwe, Namibia, Kenya. I think we even have a group from America. Mind-blowing, guys. I cannot even begin to tell you how this feels, how it blows my mind. And we have representatives. So if you are looking for accommodation, even if you're coming from Nelspruit, Middelburg, and you don't want to drive back, we have representatives who are helping you with transport and who are also helping with finding accommodation. I think we've picked out 3 accommodation places. So just make sure you contact them. We have left details on our Instagram page. And then that's on the Unlimited Fest. I'm excited. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to meet so many of you. And lastly, in case you didn't know, we do actually have a Wisdom and Wellness book club. I mean, it's not a traditional one. We don't necessarily meet, but we do pick out books. And I know a lot of people actually read the books, and we learn a lot from them. And I touch on them in my conversations. I touch on them in my Instagram posts. And we already are in the middle of our January read. And we are reading Authentically, Uniquely You by Joyce Meyer. I thought this was a perfect fit to kickstart the year. Joyce Meyer just really breaks down how to get to that relationship where you fall in love with self and you're okay with self. It's a beautiful journey. I mean, if you know her history, you know that she really goes in and she talks about her own story, her own journey, that she didn't wake up confident. In fact, she was the least confident person. And her journey is beautiful. It's authentic. So this is our January read. We will announce our February read shortly. And then this is almost like an ongoing read for the year. This was recommended. This was recommended by my mother. The Power of a Praying Wife, The Power of a Praying Parent, The Power of a Praying Woman. This is the 3-in-1 collection. If you just want The Power of a Praying Woman, you can get that one, or the wife one, or the parent one, or you can get the 3-in-1. So those are our books. Please make sure you join us in reading. Reading is really good. It allows us to open up our minds, to get exposed, and to just, travel the world without leaving our homes. So I think that is it from me. I've caught us up. I'm excited to see who we have on our podcast, what we do. I'm excited for Wisdom and Wellness, our festival that is happening this year, the blog that is ongoing. We are continue to grow our team. It's beautiful. And to have you guys as our community, man, we've just seen the love. I won't even call it the support, but rather the unity, how we've all just come together and we're all just getting healthier, we're getting well and we're getting whole, and I'm excited about it. So let's have a beautiful 2023 unlimited year. Let us thrive in whatever we're doing. Let us be mindful. Let us strive towards being whole, and let us lock in those routines. From me, Mrs. Mom, thank you so much for joining today's Wisdom and Wellness podcast. Run out of your favorites from Dis-Chem? Shop all your Dis-Chem essentials on Dis-Chem DelivereD for delivery in just 60 minutes. Dis-Chem DelivereD, from us to you on demand.